Okay, so in this paper, a little bit of domain, range, and function notation from yesterday. Okay, so it says find the range. So what does that mean? Find the what? What does range deal with? Y. Okay. Of each function for the given domain. Well, what does domain do with? X. So they're saying that your domain, they're giving you each, or an X, multiple numbers. So you just plug it in and solve. So like this one, you're going to have three equations. You're going to have 6 times 0 minus 1. What's 6 times 0 minus 1?
0.
Negative 1. So your first one would be negative 1. Then you got to, okay, the 0's done, so you move to the 2. 6 times 2 minus 1. 11. Okay, the 2 is done. Then you go 6 times 4 minus 1. 23. So all I'm doing, so just taking each of these three numbers, D equals whatever these three numbers are, and plugging them into the X because our domain is X. So plugging them in there, solving, getting our range. That's it. Okay? So does that make sense on 2 and 3? Now, 3, does everybody know what this means? Those two lines? It means absolute value. Okay, now you have an absolute value on your calculator, I believe. Yes. Okay, there's an absolute value on your calculator. Now, when you go in to type in your absolute value, if you go to your calculator, so everybody goes to their calculator, go to where you add, subtract, multiply, and divide. And let me double check to make sure it's in the right spot. Maybe. Okay. Never mind. On your absolute value, basically all you're doing is changing everything to a positive. That's what absolute value means. So if you take this negative 3, plug it into X, it just becomes 3. Okay? What?
Were you looking for the absolute value?
Yeah, where's that?
Reddit?
Yep. Okay, where'd you find that?
Right here.
Okay, so it's right here on your absolute value. If you'll push this button right here, right next to the 9, and then it'll give you a line, a box, and a line. Inside that box, you type in the numbers. And push enter, it automatically gives it to you. Okay? The button is right next to the 9, right to the right of the 9.
What do we press? Because that brings up a menu.
Yeah, it brings up a menu. You're looking for something that's got a line,
Oh,
a box, and a line. Okay. Okay, so that's kind of how you're doing those right there. So let's kind of, so all those on the front page, that's pretty much all you're doing, plugging into X and solving. Okay, so let's flip the page. Okay, that extra page is scratch paper. Okay, all right, so yesterday we talked about function notation. So like on 6, 7, 8, and 9. What normally goes inside that parentheses? An X. So what are you going to do with each of those numbers? So f of 3, what am I going to do with that 3? There you go. I'm going to plug it in to the f of x equation. 3 times 3 minus 1. Which gives me 8. That's how you do that. Okay, so that's how you're going to do 6, 7, 8, and 9. Just plug them into their equation and solve. Now, look at 10 and 11. Okay, break it up just like you would right here at f of 3. Okay, f of negative 1. So I would do this. I would work out the f of negative 1 first. So that means 3 times negative 1 minus 1. What would that give me? Negative 4. And then I would do g of 4. So then I would go 4 squared plus 1, which gives me 17. Now it says to add them together. So what's negative 4 plus 17?
13.
There's your answer. Does that make sense in how you did that? Pretty simple. Okay, all I did was I still did function notation, plugged it in, but then when I got my answers, I added them together because it's asking me to. Same thing on 11. You'll do the same thing. Okay, and 12 through 15. All this is asking for what other ordered pair goes with this, or what y goes with this. So if I go to g of negative 4, I go and find negative 4 on my x. Oh, boom, right there. What's the y with it? Negative 1. Remember we did this as xy coordinates yesterday? So all you're doing is find the y coordinate with that x. So you're looking at these coordinates right here, right above 12, 13, 14, and 15. Okay, domain and range, 16 and 17. When you have ordered pairs, your domain, what are you going to do? Are you going to write out less than or equal to x, less than or equal to something, or are you going to list the numbers? List the numbers. They're dots. Draw your lines to the x-axis. Figure out what number it goes, and then draw your lines to the y-axis. Okay, so list your dot or your domain numbers, your range numbers, and then tell me, is it a function, yes or no? Okay. 17 is just domain and range. Now, if you look at 17's graph, that one is going to look like something like that. Now, we're going to have to change one of our signs because we have an open circle. Now remember, less than is open, less than or equal to is closed. Okay? So on domain, if I draw a line from the left side of my graph to the x-axis, what number do I run into? Negative 7. So I'm going to do negative 7. Now, am I going to use the less than or the less than or equal to? Less than, because it's an open circle right there. Then x, and then less than or equal to, because the right side's a closed circle, and I'm going to what number? It's not, it's,
3.
yeah, 3. Then let's do the range. We go from the very bottom to the y-axis. What number am I running into? Negative 2. Am I using less than or less than or equal to? Less than or equal to. Perfect. Y. Then less than
3.
positive 3. There you go. That's it. Okay, so I did the hardest domain and range for you, or with you. Okay, so the rest of this is for you to work on. When you are done, you are to turn into the tray. All it is domain, range, function notation. The function notation should be piece of cake. The domain and range, that's where you have to do the work because you actually have to plug stuff in, solve. Okay? Go.